Lots to go over today, from reports about the raise in Game Pass and how it is helping Call of Duty to more Halo remakes in development, as well as the Halo MMO. What happened with that? Whose fault is it that it got canceled? We have a story on that. So we have all of that, plus many other stories to go over today. If you do enjoy the video, make sure to hit the like button, share the video, subscribe if you are new here. Also, subscribe if you've been watching for a while and are not subscribed yet, because I see a lot of you in the statistics watch every day but are not subscribed. So I do appreciate the support. But for now, let's get into the news. So the $10 price in Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, from $20 to $30, was one of the most controversial things in gaming so far this year. Now, we only have 2 months before the end of the year. Will there be anything more controversial? Potentially, but that was one of the things that had a ton of people talking. You had the Xbox is dead pundits out and celebrating that they made this move. But it's not all doom and gloom, it does seem like, especially from the Call of Duty side. One of the things people were wondering was, is it because Call of Duty they raised the prices to Ultimate? And if you sit back and you take a look at what specifically they did do, they kept Call of Duty in Game Pass on day one. However, they removed it from the premium tier and they removed it from the standard tier. So you had to pay the $30 a month in order to get access to the game on day one, which is still a very, very good value, because people pay $80 for this game every single year when it does drop, when it does come out on day one. They play it throughout the year. And if you're somebody who maybe wants to play the campaign, you don't play Call of Duty every single month, you pay the $30 for Ultimate, you get access to it, and you play as long as you want until, I guess, you unsubscribe, or you stay subscribed and you play other stuff if you are enjoying the service. So they're betting on Call of Duty and Ultimate being a big pusher of people to subscribe to Game Pass Ultimate. Last year, I believe it gave them the biggest one-day uptick in Game Pass subscribers. And you'll see that happen again. You'll see a lot of people jump in on day one to Game Pass to play the game itself. But it looks like we have some more reasons, some other good reasons here as to why they did raise the price, if you can ever call a price raise a good reason. This comes via the Ghost of Hope, who is a well-known insider for Call of Duty, always has good information. And here is what the Ghost of Hope says. Report: I spoke to several Call of Duty developers who say that the recent price increase for Game Pass from $19.99 to $29.99 is a positive for the Call of Duty studios. Financially, this will be a win for them as individuals, because it will lead to more revenue, which means they are more in control of their future and what they can achieve. There is also a lot more financial upside with bonuses and such if they are successful now. The news of a price increase also means they need to rely on making games that sell more units to achieve these bonuses. The vibe in Activision with regards to Black Ops 7 is pretty positive at the moment. A few months ago, the executive team was not happy, and now they are feeling better. So that's an overwhelming positive story here in regards to a price raise, something you probably would have not expected. One of the things that I like to highlight here is this second paragraph, where he says, financially, this will be a win for them as individuals because it will lead to more revenue. And you always see the people out there, the people who love to pat themselves on the back for supporting the developers. But then, of course, there is a price raise. If they have to pay more money for something, they're also the first ones to yell into the void about how angry they are that they have to pay for the games that they do want to play. Well, right here is an exact example, if this report is true, coming from the Ghost of Hope, that this price raise is actually helping the individual developers in a way that is making them happy, helping them do their job better, and potentially giving us a better product going forward. Of course, Call of Duty is a yearly release, and it does get stale for a lot of people, and they always have to find ways to improve upon the next. It's the best-selling game every single year. They always have to find ways to improve upon the sales, which is extremely hard to do if you sit back and think about it. You're the number one selling game every single year within the video game industry, and no matter what, you have to the next year do better than the previous year in order to meet your goals and objectives. So they have to find ways to be able to sell more units. They also have to find ways to get people interested in potentially wanting to subscribe and pay the $30 a month to jump in to Call of Duty. But it does seem like from this report, what he is saying here, lots of upside to that price raise for the developer. If you're somebody who's been shouting from the hilltops, support the devs, this is a direct example. You can't really deny it if this is what they are telling you, that how much it does actually help them and support them in order to make their games better. And of course, it's a massive developer, a massive game. They're going to sell their units regardless. But yes, in order for developers to be successful, the more revenue they do make, the better will be for the future of their game. So, interesting story there. I don't think anybody was expecting any positive news from the Game Pass price raise, but this is one, and we'll see what this means going forward for the future of the franchise. I'm actually looking very much forward to Call of Duty Black Ops 7. I enjoyed the beta. I'm very excited for the campaign, and apparently, they may be doing what they've done in previous years, and I think this is a very smart move. I hope this is true, but there are some data that people have found that is suggesting that it will be true, that the campaign and the zombies are going to be releasing 4 days early versus the multiplayer. It's smart because it allows people who generally would never check out the campaign but are picking up Call of Duty to play the campaign. They got 4 days to jump in until the multiplayer goes live, or they'll be completely taken to play the multiplayer. This comes here in a recent post from social media, the famed data miner PlayStation Game Size, who dug up information on the install sizes, preload dates, and release times for Black Ops 7 on the PlayStation 4. And they say, while a disclaimer highlighted that things can change, the data found suggests that the Black Ops 6 campaign and Zombies platform will go live on November 10th. I think that's a typo. I think they meant to say Black Ops 7 rather than November 14th. I think this makes sense. I wouldn't be shocked if this is the truth. It's just the thing here is we are November 3rd. So you would think they're going to say this week, and they're going to maybe even say today or tomorrow or something like that. But they're also saying it could be a PSN Air. We haven't heard specifically from Activision or Xbox as to whether that is the case yet, but I believe they did that previously. Forget which Call of Duty they did it with. Maybe it was Black Ops 6, but just jumping into the campaign, or maybe it was Modern Warfare 3, jumping into the campaign early, giving the gamers out there that opportunity makes complete sense. Because whenever they show off the numbers and statistics as to what people play in Call of Duty, it's like a small, very small number that actually do end up playing the campaign. And this may increase those numbers, especially if it's a campaign that their heart and soul went into and it's actually good. Like Black Ops 6 was a great campaign. I feel like Black Ops 7 will be very good because the Black Ops campaigns are generally good. So they're going to want people to go out there and experience. I hope that they end up releasing it earlier. I will very much appreciate that as well. Now, in terms of first-person shooters, we know we're getting Halo campaign Evolved. Looks phenomenal in Unreal Engine 5. Landing on the PS5 as well. So it's kind of introducing that player base who potentially may have never played the game. It's like their first entry into it. It makes complete sense to start from the beginning and then move forward from there. This isn't that shocking. And I do think this is true. Halo 2 and 3 campaign remakes are also in development. And this will be in order to just get the series rebooted from the beginning with the original games in Unreal Engine 5 and a complete remake from the ground up. And it will introduce new players to the Halo universe. It says here, it has been claimed by the Halo leaker that both Halo 2 and Halo 3 are getting the remake treatment after Halo campaign Evolved drops. In a social media post, Leaks Infinite claimed that a source informed them that both games are being remade and that they will have sprint. It was also noted that the next Halo game to feature multiplayer will be Halo 7. And this is got to be the most intriguing thing of them all. Halo 7. Where are they going with Halo 7? Because Halo Infinite, by all accounts, commercially was not successful. However, I think it was a phenomenal game. At least the multiplayer I thought was very, very good. I actually liked the campaign as well. The campaign was fun. The open world could have been improved upon. There's a lot of things that they can take from Halo Infinite and make it much better in Halo 7, but I did enjoy playing the campaign. But the gameplay and everything was so good. But where are they going to go with Halo 7? Are they going to continue with the story where obviously if you played Halo Infinite, I'm not going to spoil it, there is a lot more story to be told here. Is that where they're going to go with it with Halo 7, or are they going to jump off and try rebooting a new story again as a brand new thing to bring people into? I have a feeling because they're remaking the campaigns, that is the entry point. That is the thing that they are doing to try to get more people interested in the franchise before they go ahead with Halo 7, which will continue the story for Halo Infinite. I feel like that will be the way they will go with it, and then they'll give you a huge recap if you haven't played Halo Infinite and stuff before you jump into Halo 7. I hope so. I really, really hope that is what they are going to do with the next game with Halo 7. But that's where the next major multiplayer is. So that's why I was asking, why was there no multiplayer with Halo campaign involved? It seems like it's going to be with Halo 7. But you also have to ask, Halo 2 and Halo 3 had great multiplayer back in the day, but it does sound like they're only doing with the campaigns there. They're not going to jump in and remake the multiplayer, which I think will be disappointing to a lot of people. A game that was previously an console exclusive to the PlayStation 5 is now coming to Xbox. So this was timed exclusive game, and this is Silent Hill 2. It looks like it is coming here to Xbox. They say here, it seems the Silent Hill 2 remake was potentially on a timed exclusivity agreement, and this is a feeling as the horror remake has been rated by the ESRB for the Xbox Series. There's still no Nintendo Switch port in the open, but the game's console presence is about to become wider and more terrifying. So if you've been waiting here to play Silent Hill 2 on your Xbox, you're going to be able to do that. The ESRB website was updated on October 31st to show Silent Hill 2 being certified. The key difference this time is that it is for the Xbox Series platforms, and the news comes nearly a year after the PS5 and the PC launches. So this was a timed exclusive deal that PlayStation bought up here for the PS5 to fill in the gaps, right? To fill in the gaps where they don't have very much first-party stuff coming out from their own first-party studio. So they go out there and they make these timed exclusive deals with third-party games, third-party developers in order to fill gaps for people to look at the PlayStation 5 and think that they have to go out and buy it rather than just waiting to play it on the platform of their choice. I mean, that's for the people who aren't playing the games that are always on top of the list on the charts, the Black Hole games, the Fortnites, the Call of Duties and stuff. But either way, coming here to Xbox, which is great because Silent Hill F was on Xbox and now I got Silent Hill 2, and the franchise is making its way onto the platform. Jumping back to Halo, an interesting thing was potentially there was going to be a Halo MMO. And I think a Halo MMO, there's a universe there. You can make a pretty fun, good MMO, and you would have a huge fan base instantly off the bat. I know I'd be jumping into a Halo MMO. There was one in development. It got killed, and now the infamous Don Matrick is being blamed here for the death of the Halo MMO. This is former Ensemble Studios developer blaming Xbox head Don Matrick for killing Halo MMO. This is a social media post and says, in 2008, Ensemble Studios started planning a gigantic MMO set in the Halo universe. We codenamed it Titan. It was to take place tens of thousands of years ago before the Halos were set off and destroyed all sentient life in the galaxy. It was brought to naught when Don Matrick realized that his stock bonus was based on the income Microsoft had from games in 3 years. And that's always an issue with these massive corporations. These types of decisions are always affected by this stuff. When you have the executives looking at when they get their bonus, how can they get their bonus? They'll greenlight stuff that maybe may not be the best for the brand or for the gaming, but if they can get out there and make money off it so they get closer to their bonus, they will go in that direction. He says, you see, we estimated 3.5 years to finish Titan if we did it right, and that's beyond Matrick's drop dead date. So by firing all of Ensemble, he didn't have to pay for our expensive studio for 3 years, and he didn't care about Titan. And it's just such a shame to hear, especially after everything that Don Matrick did with the launch of the Xbox One, which you could see the vision now and say, okay, he was somewhat on the path as to where the industry was going, but he basically made some of the worst decisions for the launch of a new generation after coming off one of the most successful generations with the Xbox 360. He lost one of the most generations because he wanted to turn everything into what Xbox wasn't about, TV, and enter an entertainment box more so than a gaming box, where the Xbox 360 was solely a gaming box. And that's why people did love it. Gaming, the Xbox Live stuff, the Xbox Live Arcade from the 360, all of that was just not the face of the Xbox One, where then you jump back into the Xbox Series X and S. And yes, we are in a completely different space now from the beginning of the generation. Now they've definitely changed in terms of where they're putting their games and all that. But they really focus on the games as the main point of the Xbox Series X and S. And that honestly didn't even help the console sell. So it's an interesting thing, the gaming industry. But I do think when we heard Phil Spencer, and he's not the only person that has talked about this, losing that PS4 and Xbox One generation was the worst to lose. It's simply because people had jumped more into the digital side of gaming. People were going mostly digital with their purchases. So they chose a platform where they were going to stay and continue to buy the consoles for, because they already spent thousands of dollars on a digital library that you couldn't take to the other platform itself. In fact, the last beacon of physical gaming was the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch 2 digital, because they are pretty much all just using game key cards for the publishers, that, and other than Nintendo themselves, it does seem like, and a publisher and a developer for like CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk 2077, they actually put their game on the cart. The Switch 2 is moving towards the Xbox and the PlayStation. The Switch 1 was the last beacon of physical gaming, and now we have Circana here just putting the info out there that digital is now accelerating on the Nintendo Switch 2, saying Nintendo is the last remaining of the physical forward publishers, and even they are starting to make that flip, at least in the US. Other parts of the world may be different. Nintendo still maintains a physical focus on a retailer focus, as where the other manufacturers have kind of effectively or nearly effectively moved on to a great degree. There is that dedicated buyer that loves physical, but like you said, that mix is continuing to shift. And with most recent Switch models, we are seeing that shift happening a little bit faster, even on Nintendo. I think for a lot of people, including myself, one thing I enjoyed about the Switch was picking up physical games, knowing that the game was on the cartridge. Now that they've introduced the game key cards, it's like there's no point in even picking up a physical game anymore, because that is just a digital key to a digital game, and you're taking up space on your shelf for something that has nothing at all on the cartridge itself. So when the internet goes out and you put that game key card in, useless. You can't even get it, because it's just completely all digital. So the industry is digital. That's where it's gone. And some of the decisions you see happening now is showing that. I think that it plays a major role in a lot of the business changes as well. Like Xbox Play Anywhere, everything digital. It's by far the best way to consume my games now. I'm not going out and buying any more physical Xbox games. And I'm looking specifically for Xbox Play Anywhere, because you buy the digital version, you can play on any device that has access to Xbox. So that's where the industry is going. And unfortunately for the physical collectors, it's becoming harder and harder to really justify buying physical games. Contraband. This was a game that was announced at the Xbox Showcase. It was their Xbox partner games that they were putting out. It did get canceled. And now we have some screenshots that have emerged after the game's cancellation. I can't say I'm that disappointed about this game being canceled. It's sad. I would like kind of see it play out and how it would look and everything. But it was a multiplayer game. We knew that. It looked like there was like some heist stuff involved and everything. And here are the screenshots, is exactly what the concepts that they were going for and everything. So you can see just like the menus and stuff. So join sessions. So obviously this is a multiplayer game. Then you can see here people actually they had online lobbies and everything. I don't know if this is probably just for internal testing. You can see like the character that you could play as, the different gamer tags and stuff, and then the actual maps. Downtown was one of the maps. Your progression going from level 4 to level 5. So just the menus, basically, not anything really more than that. But that is Contraband. Well, we won't ever see that game. I don't know how successful that game would have been right now in an era where there are just so many multiplayer games that are getting put out there, and trying to get people away from the games that they currently play is becoming harder and harder. But yeah, the game never even made it out. So we will never know if it was going to be any good or if it was going to be successful. Grand Theft Auto 6 could be the first $100 game. I will not be shocked if this is the case. They're kind of already hinting at it. They're basically already trying to prepare people for it and everything. And now we have even more preparation that it will be $100. The actor thinks that Grand Theft Auto 6 warrants a $100 price tag. This is in a recent interview with The Escapist. Jay Clates, the actor behind the notorious Lester Crest in Grand Theft Auto 5, sat down to talk about all things GTA, and he touched on his experiences acting and everything, and here is what he says. Yeah, dude, I mean, GTA 5 was so heavy on the mocap. I assume that GTA 6 will be the same way. And these games take so long to make, years and years and years. It's not like they've just been hanging out, chilling, then started just working on the game last year. They finished GTA 5 and then started on GTA 6 more or less immediately thereafter. This shit takes forever. As we saw with GTA 5, the game will come out and there will be other versions. There will be downloadable content. It will be online. You're almost buying multiple games when you buy the one. I would also like to see it made more accessible to more fans. So I get that side of the argument too, to make it affordable for folks. That's cool too. Maybe there's like a way to split the difference, but I share the sentiment that the game warrants that price tag. Yeah, I get that. And that's in response to, is it worth the $100 label? I would not be shocked. Like I'm betting on GTA 6 being $100, and that's where they're going to launch yet. And we don't even know if that's going to include like online and everything. And then you may have to pay more after that. That's the other thing too, because they launch online and they make billions off of their GTA Online after they've launched the base game. And it's going to sell regardless. It's going to be the best selling game. $100. People are going to go out there and buy it day one. You know, people who are saying they aren't going to buy, it's going to be hard for them to resist when they see all the screenshots and all the videos and all the FOMO and everything. So this will trigger $100 games. I do think that is going to be the case. And then you will see more publishers looking at the numbers of GTA 6 and thinking, we can sell this percentage of that amount of sales at $100. And we will make this much more money than if we priced it at $80 and maybe sold a couple $100,000 more or 100,000 units more or something like that. So even if they sell a bit less or selling it for $100, they make more money in overall. You're going to see a lot of publishers potentially starting to raise the prices of their games and selling games at $90, $80, $100, who knows. But GTA 6, I think, is going to be that trigger for the industry. I'm going to end the video there. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.